Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about a very important question in SQL, which is count nulls in each column. Okay, so let's start. So as you can see on my screen, I have one table, okay, which is having ID, name, email, and phone columns. Okay, and as you can see, each column is having some nulls. Okay, so as you can see, name is having one null value, email is having one null value, phone is having two null values. Okay, so what I want to achieve from this is like I want to count the null values in each column. So as you can see here in ID I have zero null values, so I want zero as output in ID column. And in name I have one null value, so I want one as value in name. And similarly for email I have one null value there, so I want one value there. And similarly for phone I have two null values, so I want the same count there too in the phone one. Okay. So how can we achieve this? So to achieve this, what we can do? Let's say what I can do. As you know, count of star. Count of star will give me all the records in the table, right? So here we have three records, right? So the value of count of star will be three, right? Now let's say if I do count of column, as you know in SQL, whenever you do count of any column, it will not give you null value, right? It will exclude the null and then it will give you the count. So for example, if I do count of name, here the records are three, but there is a one null value, right? So it will exclude that null value and it will give you only two count. Similarly, if you do count of email, it will exclude this null value and it will give you only through two count. Similarly, if you do count of phone, since you have two null values there, so it will exclude those, and I have only one valid value there, so it will give you only one count, right? And so as you can see in the left side, I did the same thing. Okay. So now to drive this result, okay, what I can do, I can subtract count of star minus count of that column. Okay. So for example, for there is no null value in ID, right? So there will be zero we want, right? So how can we achieve it? If I subtract count of star minus count of ID 3 minus 3, it will give me 0, right? Similarly for name, if I subtract count of star minus count of name 3 minus 2, it will give me 1, right? And the same goes to email, 3 minus 2 1. And the same goes to phone, 3 minus 1 equals to 2, right? So that's how I can achieve the same result. So let's go to the database and try to execute the first method. Okay, and I will also cover one more method that we can use to derive this output. Okay, so let's go to the database. Okay, so as you can see, I already have one create table statement and one insert statement. Okay, so I will paste this create statement and insert statement in the description of the video. Okay, you can use the same so that you can create the same table. Okay, so as you can see, there is the table is already created there with the same data I explained in the Excel. Okay, the same table is there. Okay, so now let's try to execute whatever we want to get this, right? Okay, so how can we do that? Okay, so to do that, it is very simple. Okay, so just select SQL here so that you can work on SQL. Okay, and or you can simply write %SQL, so it will allow you to write your SQL queries. Okay, so what I can do, I will select. Okay, and I will say select count of star minus count of ID. What it will become, as I want, I can go to Excel. Okay, I can what I want output I can type, right? And the same I can repeat for other columns, right? So let me just quickly do it. Repeat four times from table. My table name is user. Okay, so just let me quickly pass the call output column names. Okay, email, phone also. Quickly let me pass the column names also there. So let me just execute this and see what we are getting. So what I'm trying to do here as I explained there, that count of star will give me all the records from the table. So we have three records there. Now what I can do, so as you know, right, counter star will give me three records, so it is valid for each column also, right? So ID will also having three records, name is also having three records, email is also having three records, phone is also having three records, right? So what I can do, I can subtract that number of records minus count of ID. So here, so whenever you do count of any column, it will exclude the null values, right? So using that, I can achieve this, right? It will give me those records, right? Okay. So let me see. Okay. So as you can see, I am getting the same output, right? The null of ID count, there is no null value in ID, I am getting 0. There is one null value in name, I am getting 1. There is one null value in name, email, I am getting 1. There are two null values in phone number, so I am getting 2. Okay. So that's what I wanted to. So I hope you got the point, right? Count of star will give you total number of cards from the table, and count of any column will give you not null values, right? Not null values count. Okay. So ID was having only three not null values, so it will give you 3. 3 minus 3, 0. In case of name, count of star will give you 3, but count of name will give you 2, because it will not include this null. Okay. So that's why it will give you 2 count. Okay. So I hope you understand, right? The main thing is count of column. So count of column will never count the null value. Okay. It will exclude the null value. It will count only not null value count. Okay. So I hope you understand the concept, right? Okay. So now let's understand the second approach. Okay. So what is the other way? Okay. Let's say someone say, okay, this is fine. Whatever you explained, it is fine. But can you explain some other method? Let's say someone tell you, can you complete this question using case statement? Okay. Let's see how can I do that. So for that, I will just, let's say I'm taking one null column inside. Okay. So let's say I want to apply case statement on this. I will say whenever I find null value in a column, I will assign that as 1, and whenever there is not null value, I will assign as 0. Okay, let's do it. And what I can do, I can sum do the sum of these values. So as you can see the sum will come as 1. Okay. Now let me do the same thing on phone number. Okay. So whenever there is null, I want to assign it as 1. And whenever is not null value, I will assign as 0. Okay. Now if I do the sum of these column, what I am getting? 2. That's what we want, right? Okay. So what I'm trying to say, we can have the we can do this also using case statement. Okay. So I hope you got my point, right? Whenever there is null, I want to assign is 1. Whenever there is not null value, I will assign is 0. Okay. And then I will do the sum of that column. So it will give me the total of null values in that column, right? That is another approach. Okay. So let's go to Databricks and execute that. Okay. So I will say select, and then, sorry, select, and I will do sum, and I will type the case statement. So I hope you know case statement in SQL, right? Case, how we write it? Case, when you will pass the column name, when ID, I am trying to say, is null, then I want to assign it as 1, as 0. Okay. And I want to end it as, I can copy the same column name from above. Okay. So I can copy paste the same. Okay. So let me quickly do it. Let me pass the column names, name, email, and this is phone. from user table, right? So I hope you got this right. What is a case statement in SQL? How we write it? We write case when, and then we write column name. And what is a condition? Let's say I'm saying is null. When id is null, then I want to assign it as 1 as 0. Okay. So as I explained in the Excel, right, whenever I will find null value in the column, I will assign it as 1. Otherwise, I will assign it as 0, right? So that's what I'm trying to do through the case statement there. Okay. So I'm repeating the same thing in each column. Okay. So now let's try to execute this and see, okay, whether we are getting the same result or not. Yeah, we are getting the same result, right? That we were getting above. So that's the second approach that we can solve this question, right? So I hope you understand the concept, right? You understand both the methods, right? You could have solved this using the count one also, and you can solve this using the case statement also. Okay. So just remember, I think people get confused using this count of any column. They include this null also. Okay. Whenever you do count of any column, it will not include null. Okay. It will always exclude the null. So that's a tricky thing. I think most of the time people get confused in this. Okay. So just always remember this. Whenever you do count of any column, it will not include null. Okay. It will give me, so here in this example name, it will not give me three count. It will give me only two count. Okay. And the other approach is using case statements also. You could have done this. So that's what we explained, right? So I hope, so as we can see, the question was easy, but sometimes someone who just started with SQL, for them it can be tricky one. So anyway, it was a good question, okay, and I hope you liked the video, okay, and you understood this question. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video, comment on it. We will meet in the next video with some interesting SQL question, okay. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.